US President Donald Trump publicly stated that he will personally take part in choosing the next leader of Iran, just as he did in Venezuela. Donald Trump said that he doesn't care about some assembly of experts in Iran. He personally has to approve the candidate for the role of the country's supreme leader. Donald Trump acknowledged that Mojtaba Khamenei, the son of the slain supreme leader Ali Khamenei, is of course the most likely successor to power. But at the same time, Trump made it clear that he considers such an outcome unacceptable, hinting that it would be better for Mojtaba to give up his title, hinting that Israel has already named him as a target for elimination. And then suddenly information appeared that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu reached out to the White House this week for clarification after it became known that representatives of the Trump administration are likely maintaining contact and communication with the Iranian regime. Netanyahu's statement indicates that the Israeli government is concerned about a scenario in which the US seeks a ceasefire before all of Israel's military objectives are achieved. In addition, Netanyahu fears that Trump may actually address Iran's internal issues without Israel's involvement. My name is Alexei Pichi. Let's discuss this topic together, but before we start, I ask you to subscribe to this channel, like this episode, and leave your comment under this video. By the way, this really helps a lot in promoting content on YouTube, and I would be grateful to you for that. And subscribe to my Telegram channel, Pichi News. The link is in the description of this video. There we publish breaking news as it comes in. So Axios reports that, according to two sources familiar with the situation, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu reached out to the White House this week for clarification after it became known that members of the Trump administration might be maintaining ties with the Iranian regime. And this news was simply shocking because Donald Trump himself publicly stated that he was not negotiating with the Iranians and that supposedly it was already too late for any talks. As the publication writes, Netanyahu's statement indicates that the Israeli government is concerned about a scenario in which the US will push for a ceasefire before Israel achieves its military objectives. Sources reported that earlier this week, Israeli intelligence received information that raised suspicions that negotiations for a ceasefire were taking place between Iran and the Donald Trump administration. On Monday, Netanyahu called White House officials and asked whether such negotiations or exchanges of messages had taken place. The White House stated that the Trump administration had not been negotiating with the Iranians behind his back, but intelligence suggests otherwise. At the same time, a U.S. official said that Special Envoy Stephen Witkoff and Trump's advisor and son-in-law Jared Kushner communicate almost daily with Netanyahu, Mossad Director David Barnea, and other Israeli officials, and that the coordination over the past month has been very close. At the same time, they allegedly are not talking to the Iranians. And it should be clarified here that in the past few days, the Iranians have been sending messages to the Trump administration through Gulf countries and other countries in the region requesting negotiations, but the US has not responded. At the same time, on Wednesday, the New York Times reported that Iranian intelligence ministry officials did, in fact, indirectly contact the US Central Intelligence Agency through the intelligence agency of a third country, offering to discuss terms for ending the war. But at the political level, there were no negotiations. But on Tuesday, President Trump also ruled out any possibility of negotiations with the Iranian regime. Here is the quote. "Their air defense, air force, navy, and leadership have been destroyed. They want to talk, but I said it's too late." Well, and here the peacemaker, I'll put that in quotes, Donald Trump decided. In an interview with Axios on Thursday, Trump stated that he needs to personally participate in choosing the next supreme leader of Iran. Otherwise, the US will not recognize him and Israel will eliminate him. Trump acknowledged that Mojtaba Khamenei, the son of the slain supreme leader Ali Khamenei, is the most likely successor. But at the same time, Trump made it clear that he considers such an outcome unacceptable. Let me remind you that for several days, the Iranian regime was delaying the announcement of the name of the new supreme leader. Earlier, the Assembly of Ayatollahs allegedly elected the son of the late Ayatollah, Mojtaba Khamenei, as the new leader, but I emphasize there has not yet been an official announcement about this. However, statements by Iranian politicians on Thursday suggest that the announcement may take place in the near future and that it is most likely Mojtaba Khamenei who will assume the post of supreme leader. And then Donald Trump bursts in and declares, They're wasting their time. Khamenei's son is a nobody. I have to be involved in the appointment, just like with Delcy Rodriguez in Venezuela. I refuse to accept a new Iranian leader who will continue Khamenei's policies, which will force the US into another war in 5 years. Khamenei's son is unacceptable to me. We need someone who will bring harmony and peace to Iran. And these comments by Donald Trump are extraordinary. This is an extraordinary statement about American power over Iran's political future, further complicating the goals of the large-scale US military campaign. Let me explain why. Because the US Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, publicly denied the day before that regime change was the goal of the operation, instead focusing on weakening Iran's missile capabilities, its nuclear program, and its navy. But Trump speaks directly. I will personally choose Iran's new leader. Trump says that no, the goal is indeed regime change. Let me remind you, Mojtaba Khamenei, the 56-year-old son of the slain supreme leader Ali Khamenei, has become the main contender to succeed his father, although there has not been an official announcement yet. Khamenei, a staunch cleric with close ties to the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, has never held any government positions. On Tuesday, Israel bombed an Iranian building in Qom. There is a religious organization located there, the Assembly of Experts, responsible for electing the next supreme leader of Iran. The strike aimed to disrupt the vote counting. As for Rodriguez in Venezuela, when Trump says that the same thing will happen in Iran as when Rodriguez surrendered in Venezuela, it should be acknowledged that after the overthrow of Nicolas Maduro, she is really working closely with Washington. And just this Wednesday, Trump was praising Rodriguez, stating that, but oil started to flow after Secretary of the Interior Doug Burgum visited Caracas, and that same Delcy Rodriguez announced plans to reform Venezuela's mining legislation. In short, she's really working in tandem with the White House, and Trump says it will be exactly the same in Iran. I'll leave it at that. Share your opinions and conclusions in the comments below this episode. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, and don't forget to like. If you found this interesting or useful, you can support our channel financially with your donation or a paid sponsorship subscription. You can do this using the links and details in the description of this video or by scanning the QR code on your screen. I will be grateful for any support you can give. That's all for now. Take care. Goodbye, everyone.